how humans evolved language. Thanks to the field of linguistics, we know much about the development of the 5,000 plus languages in extant today. We can describe their grammar and pronunciations and see how their spoken and written forms have changed over time. For example, we understand the origins of the Indo-European group of languages, which includes Norwegian, Hindi, English, and can trace them back to tribes in Eastern Europe in about 3000 BC. So we have mapped out a great deal of the history of language. But there are some areas we know little about. Experts are beginning to look to the field of evolutionary biology to find out how the human species developed to be able to use language. So far, there are far more questions and half theory than answers. We know the human language are far more complex than or even our nearest and most intelligent relative like chimpanzees. We can express complex thoughts, convey subtle emotions, and communicate about abstract concepts such as past and future. And we need to we need to look oh wait we need to we need to look this following a set of structural rules known as grammar. Do only humans use an intake system or rules to govern the order of words? Perhaps not, as some research may suggest. Dolphins share this capability because they are able to recognize when these rules are broken. If we want to know where our capability or for complex language came from, we need to look at how our brains are different from other animals. This relates to more than just brain size. It is important what other things our brain can do and when and why they evolve the way. And for this, there are few very physical clues. Artifacts left by our ancestors don't tell us what speech they were capable of making. One thing we can see in the remains of early humans, however, is the development of the mouth, throat, and tongue. By about 100,000 years ago, humans had evolved the ability to create and complex sounds. Before then, evolutionary biologists can only guess whether or not early humans communicated using more basic sounds. Another question is what it is about humans' brain that allow language to evolve in a way that it did not in other primates. At some point, our brain became able to make our mouth produce vowels, consonant sounds, and we developed the like ability to invent words to name things around us. There was the basic ingredient for complex language. The next change would have been to put those words into sentences, similar to the proto-language children use when they first learn to speak. No one knows if the next step, adding grammars to single past, present, and future, for example, or plurals and in related clauses, require a further development in the human's brain or was simply a response to our increasingly civilized way of living together. Between 100,000 and 500,000 years ago, though, we start to see the evidence of early human civilization. Through cave painting, for example, no one knows the connection between this and language. Brains doesn't suddenly get bigger, yet humans and became more complex and more intelligent. Was it using language that caused their brains to develop, or did their more complex brains that producing language? More question lines in looking at the influence of genetics our own brain and language development. Are there genetics that mutated and gives us language ability? So researchers have found a gene's mutations that occur between 200,000 and 100,000 years ago, which tend to have a connection with speaking and how our brain control our mouths and face. Monkey have a similar genes, but I didn't know undergo the mutations. It's too early to say how much influence genes have in language, but one day the answers might be found in our DNA. Thank you.